Alright guys, how's it going? So, before I rewatch Saw 6 and 7 tonight and get videos up for those, I finally watched a found footage movie that was sent to me by the director, Christopher Williams. So, thank you, Christopher, for reaching out to me. I'll give a short little background how that came about. For those of you that's been following me for a decent bit, know that I was lucky enough to see the film Chest months in advance from the director Aaron Irons in his directorial debut, and I absolutely adored the film and was promoting it everywhere. And finally, it released on Tubi last month, and now there are Blu-rays for it on the website for Chest. I did a little unboxing of the Blu-ray and the screenplay book that Aaron was so nice enough to send me a copy of both. So I did an unboxing there. It has all the information if you want to check that movie out. But I ended up getting an email from Chris here saying that he found my channel through my interview with Aaron, director of Chest, and that they met each other at a film festival last year where both their films were being screened at. And I'm pretty sure that was the festival that Chris's film here was premiered at. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember you telling me. But so this film, a Lunatic's film, is a found footage movie that he is hoping to have distributed and released by mid this year, if not earlier. He's trying to find distribution who will, handle it properly and get it out there. So it was a very interesting watch for me. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers. Of course, I mean, the film isn't even released yet, let alone, that anyone has seen it or can see it. So I don't want to get into any type of spoilers. But basically, the film, when you're watching this film, you're watching basically, I'll call it a sick home movie of a lunatic, psychopath, psychotic person that was anonymously sent to the police department. And that's the film that we're watching. It's this homemade movie that this lunatic who went off the deep end is making for himself and ends up going on a vicious killing spree after completely losing his mind. Now, Christopher Williams, the director, also wrote the script for the movie. He edited the film, and he stars in the film as the lunatic. There is no name for him. He's just an unnamed crazy person, and his performance is very, very well done. Like, throughout the movie, I was really convinced at certain parts that I was watching an authentic video made by a psychopath. So I can't praise his performance in this enough. Very, very believable, very disturbing at times, for sure. Now, I said the same thing with Chest. This is a low-budget film. It's found footage. 90% of found footage is low budget, and they're very cheap to make. But putting budgetary issues aside, or I don't want to say issues, but limitations aside, and just taking it for what it is, I think a lot of found footage fans will really enjoy this movie. Now, if you're not a found footage fan, and I mean like a decent to big found footage fan, I'm not saying that if you're not a found footage fan that you won't care for this movie, because I know many people who almost despise the found footage genre, but still adore a select few of them. So even if you're not a found footage fan, when this finally releases, definitely give it a look. Check it out for sure, because it's not like many other found footage films that I've seen in recent memory. As I said, it's basically just a sick home movie made by this psychopath who goes off the deep end and goes on a killing spree. Now, I have a few nitpicks with it, but mostly this would be for people who, I just said, who aren't into found footage. for me, these nitpicks and critiques actually added to the film for me. It's weird how it worked out like that. It actually added to the experience for me. Now, I could see some people seeing some pacing issues with this movie. That at the first half hour or so being a little slow. But for me, it works because it really builds up the tension. It builds up to the ending of the movie. And just seeing how this crazy person really starts just mentally just nosediving into complete insanity and into being a serial killer. So it's very realistic feeling. Like, it's not like he's going out, this guy's killing people left and right off the bat and stuff like that. If people, look for that in found footage movies or in any type of movies and stuff, I can see it being a little slow for them. But again, for me, it worked to the film's benefit because it really made it feel that much more realistic, that much more authentic, that it wasn't just off the bat serial killer going out and massacring people. It really does build as it goes, and as it builds, you can see this person's descent more and more into madness and into just like a psychotic break, and just becoming more unhinged as the film goes on. Now, the kills in here, there's not really any gore. You don't really see anything with the kills. There's a little bit near the end that you see, but it's the type of stuff it's the type of film you don't need that in. Like, you really don't need to see the gruesomeness of these kills, because the way it's filmed in the found footage format really sells it without having to see most of the carnage and stuff like that. So again, something that worked in the film's benefit for me. The only negative that I can really pick out for myself is there's the killer here. He breathes very heavily a lot through this movie, and I don't want to say it gets grating or anything like that. It doesn't. But I feel like it's a little over the top with the breathing. Like, every scene he's deeply breathing and stuff like that. Kind of like, though, like Michael Myers, kind of how he stalks his victims at first, and you hear the breathing because he's wearing a mask and stuff like that. And at points in this film, he is wearing a sort of mask. But if that's the only negative I can really take for myself out of a movie, you're doing something right. I mean, if heavy breathing is the only thing really that I could pick apart and say that I didn't really care for that too much, I mean, you're doing a great job, with the film. That is one of the smallest nitpicks or negatives that I could pick out of a movie, at all. So it really isn't anything that took me out of the film at all or anything like that. Now, this is Chris's fourth feature film. Now, his YouTube channel, I'm going to link in the description. I'm waiting for an email back from him for any other social media links. I will put those in the description also. His YouTube channel, Film Starter Productions, I'm subscribed to it. I'll link it in probably the title also of this video. And you can actually head over there and watch two of his previous films, Just Us and Connecting. I have not had a chance to watch those. I definitely look forward to checking them out for sure. I know nothing about them, and that's, as you guys know, my way of going into movies. I don't watch trailers, I don't read synopses or reviews before movies, any of that. I like going in as blind as can be. And I will definitely be checking out those two feature films of his that came before this. He also has a third film that I believe, correct me again, Chris, if I'm wrong on this, that was filmed before this one, called Corpse. That is a horror comedy, and it's trying to be distributed and released. and that you can see the trailer for on his YouTube channel, Film Starter Productions. So I will put a link for his channel in the description. When he gets back to me through email, I will definitely put any, if he has Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, I will definitely put those in the description as well. But overall, it was a very, very enjoyable watch. Like, it's really amazing the last year, like, since I started this channel last June, from being able to see some of these found footage movies early on, from like meeting the director of Chest, Aaron, on Reddit, and being offered to watch the film early, and Chris here reaching out to me to give me a screener. I've seen the movie Cactus Jack from last year, which made my top 5 of the year found footage movie. Not top found footage movies of the year, but top 5 movies of the year, like of last year. Another found footage movie that was just excellently done. So there's been a lot of upcoming directors and films that they're trying to get out there that are really, really intriguing and are very, very well done. And I wish Chris the best with this movie. I look forward to it finally being released, and as soon as I know from him that there's a release date or how it's going to be releasing, either via streaming like Tubi or Blu-ray or anything like that, I will definitely keep everybody updated on the channel about it. But overall, great job, Chris. Like, your performance especially just sold it so much more than I feel if you had a different actor that just didn't hit that role as the way you did. Like, you really, really sold it that you were a psychopath lunatic in this movie. like I said, there were certain parts that it just, between the found footage format and the way it's filmed, that it really was starting to feel like, damn, man, like, if somebody did snap and became a serial killer and started killing people and recording it, I can imagine this would be exactly what it looks like. Like, and again, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but you can see, like, right off the bat at the beginning of this movie that something's not right with this guy. Like, right off the bat. But again, as the movie goes on, at that slow burn pace, I guess is a good word for it, you just, the way that it builds and the way that you see just his mental state deteriorating more and more, and him just becoming more unhinged, was so excellently handled. Like, I give it huge props for that. The only other thing I can maybe pick out, especially for, like I said, for non-found footage fans, there is a lot of distortion on the camera, like, throughout the film. Like, I'm not sure, I asked Chris, I'm waiting for his email back, if there was a certain era this was supposed to be taking place in, like in the 90s, or like a specific year or time or something like that. That the film, like the home movie that we're watching of the psychopath that he made, it looks very worn out, if that makes sense. Or you see static a lot, or the bars come on the screen and stuff like that. So I'm waiting to see if there is an explanation for that. It didn't really bother me, but I can see that being something that could bother people who aren't big found footage fans. Or it's the same with, like, which there isn't a lot of this in this movie at all, but like the people who aren't into found footage and complain that, oh, it's all the shaky cam, it makes me sick and stuff like that. None of that in here, but that type of equivalent of, like, a critique, I could see non-found footage fans and even casual found footage fans picking apart here as a negative for them. Again, it didn't really affect my opinion on it at all. I would just definitely like to hear from him if there is a set time period this is supposed to be taking place in, or if there was a certain amount of time that this film was sitting in the police department that it was sent to, that would explain why the film looks so worn and like it was watched many, many times. I mean, you know, people my age and older and stuff remember with VHS cassettes back in the day. So if you wear those things out after watching them many, many times, and you start to see the quality degrade and stuff like that. So I'm curious on that. But overall, very, very happy with it. And again, Chris, my sincerest apologies for taking such a while to finally get around to watching this, just with the holidays and everything, and then just trying to keep up with life and other stuff on the channel. I just couldn't get around to it, and I'm very glad I finally got around to watching it. And I would definitely recommend people check this out when it releases. So if you want to see and check out his 2 other films that are on his YouTube channel, Just Us and Connecting, like I said, I don't know anything about them, but the link will be in the description, and you can definitely check those out. So again, thank you so much, Chris. It was a pleasure watching it, and thank you for reaching out to me to check the film out. I'm also going to link the trailer for it in the description. And like I said, when I hear back from him, probably soon, later tonight, I'll fill the description in with any Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any other social media links that he might have for himself or Film Starter Productions or anything relating to the film. But that's a Lunatic's film, and it really is a Lunatic's film, like, for sure. But all right, guys, have a great night or morning, wherever you're from. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'll have Saw 6 up after I watch it in a little bit, a video on that. So take care, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.